How do we know in the daily grind of life if we are living out of our belovedness as sons and daughters of God? Well, we've been wrestling with that. This is week 2. We talked last week about the blessing of clarity. When we spend time alone with the Father, we know who we are and what we're supposed to do. And today I want to hone in on what is this blessing of courage? That when we know who we are as God's beloved sons and daughters, we can step into things that we would otherwise avoid. Here's the thing that helps me to evaluate. Am I leaning into my belovedness, or am I drifting away from that and getting off track? I just ask this one simple question. Am I doing hard things, or am I avoiding them? That's it. Am I leaning in, doing the hard stuff, or am I avoiding them? Because when I am living out of my belovedness, I experience this blessing of courage to step in to the hard things. When I'm avoiding the hard things, and for me, whenever I ask that question, there's usually at least one or two things that come to mind. You're probably way further along in your journey, and you got to think really hard. But for me, two things pop into my mind quickly. I wonder what's coming into your mind right now. Something hard that you're avoiding. For me, it often reveals how I am operating in fear. Fear of, often for me, rejection or fear of failure. For you, it might be a fear of not being good enough, or fear of scarcity, or fear of pain or suffering, whatever it might be. The stuff that we avoid, we're usually held back from that out of fear. But when I live out of who I am as God's beloved child, I don't operate in fear, but I walk in love. I operate in faith instead. And so I have the courage to have that hard conversation that I've been avoiding. I have the courage to take a risk and try something new that I've never done. I have the courage to maybe go see a counselor and deal with some of my stuff that hinders my relationships. I have the courage to ask someone to forgive me or to extend forgiveness. I step into rather than pull back from doing the hard things. Here's why this is so critical on our journey as disciples. That we have to do hard things to learn to trust the good news of our belovedness. I heard a person make the distinction this week between known truth and trusted truth. If we don't do hard things, then the truth of our belovedness just stays in a mental category. It's abstract, it's theoretical. But when we step into doing hard things, it's in those experiences where we experience that truth becoming tested and known deep in our souls. It's when we get rejected that we have to lean on our acceptance from a perfect Father. It's when we fail and mess up that we discover all success is obedience to Jesus, not just getting this thing accomplished. So if you're in the midst of that right now, like you did something hard and now it blew up and it's not going the way you hoped it would, you have an opportunity to receive this gift of trusting the good news of your belovedness in a new way, to accept it, to allow it to sink down deeper into your soul. And then this week, it's a new opportunity. And so here's my invitation for all of us. What if this week, all of us name just one thing that we've been avoiding? I'm sure you've got a few, but pick one. And what if you stepped into trusting God? Took a step of courage to do something hard that you've been avoiding this week so that all of us together could experience a little bit more of the good news, trusting the good news that you are God's beloved child and He is pleased with you.